It is the offseason. With that comes potential signings for the Detroit Lions. And one position that I think we can all agree that the Lions should look to add more competition would be edge and wide receiver. And Jeremy Reisman of Pride of Detroit put out an article suggesting that the Detroit Lions should look to potentially sign Hakeem Butler, who's been really an absolute star in the UFL, turning his career around from essentially being an NFL bust to now being one of the best, if not the best, receiver in the UFL. And the story of Hakeem is very interesting. Physically, he is a specimen. He's 6'5", 6'6", transitioned to tight end, but now is played in the UFL and has had time to kind of hone his skills and work on his game. And he's become more of a complete wide receiver. I think coming out of college, I remember Hakeem Butler, and even I looked at Hakeem Butler and was like, okay, this guy could potentially be pretty good. He's got the size, and if he can use it correctly. Now, the skill set wasn't necessarily there in terms of his route running, his ability to get open. But again, that's what the UFL's for, and it allows him to work on his game. So let's go through Jeremy's article a little bit. I'm going to share my thoughts on Hakeem Butler and just the wide receiver room in general. So in this article, it's titled "Why the Detroit Lions should sign the UFL Offensive Player of the Year," which he did win Offensive Player of the Year in the UFL. He was really the best receiver in the league, and he was absolutely making a fool out of everybody. But Jeremy kind of writes in here and about Hakeem Butler and what he's kind of done in the UFL, even put the clip of Wade Phillips, who's the head coach of the team he plays on. You guys, I'm sure have seen this clip, him saying to Hakeem in the middle of an interview, "I'm going to tell everyone in the NFL that I talked to that you need to be playing." And it's a great story. And it kind of, Jeremy also writes what he's done in the NFL and what led to him being cut. He was drafted in the 4th round of the 2019 NFL draft, missed the entire rookie season with the Cardinals following a broken hand, and was cut before getting a second chance in Arizona. In 2020, he landed with the Philadelphia Eagles, who tried the 6'5", 227-pound receiver at tight end and would only make 2 game appearances, playing almost exclusively on special teams. And that was really it for at least his shot at the NFL. Now, one thing that does intrigue me is coming out of college, his RAS score, 9.47, athleticism and height, size, everything absolutely checks the box. He is an absolute specimen. No one is denying that. Now, there's a lot, and I'm not going to play this because we'll get copyrighted, but go watch his highlights. He was making a lot of plays in the UFL. I mean, he was a big-time playmaker. And the thing is, and Jeremy also writes in here, kind of playing in the UFL and getting a chance to work on his skills. The Detroit Lions do need to add some depth. And Dan Campbell spoke about that at his press conference during OTAs and minicamp. And one thing he said is, we're not looking to try and add any big-time talent, but we do need depth. And I think we'd all agree that at edge and at wide receiver, they do need depth. And especially wide receiver, given DPJ and how he is kind of coming along more slowly, I still have faith he can be a big part of this wide receiver room. But essentially, besides Amon-Ra St. Brown and Khalif, with J-Mo kind of rising, his stock's slowly rising, and you've been seeing him make plays, you really have 3 guys you're more sold on. Antoine Green has been someone that this offseason has really surprised me. I had faith in at least what he looked like on paper. Right, he could be a true outside receiver, but I had to see it. And so far, he's been playing with the first team. And I know it's early, but he could be someone that could fill that void. But let's just say they want to add somebody else, regardless if they have Fountain or Darius Fountain or Caden Davis, they could potentially add Hakeem Butler. He brings that size that I think truly they do kind of need. I mean, he's 6'5". He can play on the outside. And at the very least, he would just provide competition. That's really all you're looking for. Can he beat out Antoine Green, TBJ, Darius Fountain? Maybe not. But at least competition, that's what the Lions are. They're always looking for guys to compete. And I think Hakeem Butler can certainly be an option for them. You look at just the team as a whole, and wide receiver is something that I discussed with Booner and Lukas on our show, which we're live 5 days a week. And I was never really concerned about the wide receiver room. I'm still not really concerned, given I think Sam Laporta basically count him as a wide receiver as well. They got weapons. But in the same breath, it wouldn't hurt to add a guy like Hakeem Butler to just compete. He's already meeting with the Carolina Panthers, so there is NFL interest there. And I'm sure there's other wide receivers in free agency that you could probably argue should be brought in as well. But I don't necessarily hate this. I don't know if Hakeem Butler is going to come in and, make plays for you this year. He could. I'm sure he's gotten better since he played in the NFL. But I think the Lions just need to continually add talent and add depth at wide receiver and at edge. So I'm curious what you guys think about this. In really the Antoine Green storyline, because Antoine Green, I think, will only continue to impress. I mean, this is a guy that last year didn't play, but he had a year under his belt in this offensive system, and now it's a second off season. And I do think Antoine can certainly be that surprise, like, oh, where'd he come from? And be a pretty big contributor this year and help fill some of that Josh Reynolds production. Although JMO's going to take most of that responsibility, to be honest with you. But Hakeem Butler, what do you guys think? He won't be playing tight end. He'll be playing wide receiver. And this is why I do like the UFL, because it gives guys an opportunity to work on their game and get better. And it really gives NFL teams, it's almost like a G League for the NBA, but not quite the same. But you get to scout guys and see, okay, this guy's making some plays. Let's bring him in. And I think Hakeem Butler should be that guy, that training camp you do bring in. I wouldn't hate it at all. I wouldn't. I don't think he'll beat out Antoine DPJ. I think he'll go toe-to-toe with Darius Fountain, and that would probably be the spot for him. But do you guys love this? Hakeem Butler, if you watch the UFL, please tell me. What's with Hakeem Butler? I haven't been watching. But I know at least for half the season, looking at Hakeem Butler's stats, let me see, 8 games, he finished first in receiving touchdowns, 8, and finished second in receiving yards, 600 in 8 games. Guy was on pace to have 1,200 yards if it was a full 16-game season, but 17-game, a little over that. And then he was named Offensive Player of the Year. So, and he caught 45 passes for 652 yards and 5 touchdowns in 10 games. So, what do you guys think about Hakeem Butler? Is he worth bringing in or not? Please let me know in the comment section below. And don't forget to like the video as well, because it helps push the video out in the algorithm so more people can see the video and the channel. And don't forget to subscribe. We're about to hit 7.5 thousand, which thanks to you guys, we're on our way to 10,000. Until next time, I'll catch you.